Hello, my name is Catherine Rinks, and I wanted to share a little bit with you about what I learned about education and its role in society. Um, First, I wanted to show you this painting. It's known as Raphael's um, School of the Athens. I love school. I know that's kind of silly because oftentimes people don't enjoy school very much, but I love in this painting, it's similar to a snapshot, if you will, a moment in history where people would come together and learn, where they would um, expound upon their ideas. Um, I, I've been going to school for a long time, and I've learned that I still have a lot to learn, but I've also learned how to think for myself. So I love this painting because it encourages me um, to soar, if you will, to become something that is more than what you are now. You have the opportunity to learn and to grow. Um, there are some perceptions in society. One of my questions that I asked um, was how can society's philosophies influence such a vast amount of people? And when I pondered this question a little bit more, I realized that um, society is the vast amount of people. So of course, it's synonymous. The question doesn't really make sense. The greater question is, or more basic, fundamental question is, what is the role of peer pressure um, in society? Why are so many people influenced by each other to where many of them believe the same things, even if they haven't thought it out themselves? I was reminded of 1 Nephi chapter 8. This is the vision of the tree of life when um, Laman and Lemuel and Sam and Nephi, as well as Sariah, were beckoned to come and partake of the fruit of the tree. And Laman and Lemuel didn't want to, and that's okay. So if you think of the great and spacious building of society, sometimes I'm not saying that society is bad at all, but sometimes society's philosophies um, are correct and sometimes they're not correct. For example, it was believed that the earth was flat, and that was taken as truth until it was proven incorrect. It was believed that the earth was central to the universe, and it was taken as truth before it was proved correct. So, knowing that um, we are all influenced fairly easily by each other, and sometimes it's difficult to stand for one thing or another, I want to discuss a little bit about the power of one person. Um, Elena Stalton said, in order to make a difference in the world, you have to be different from the world. I know that to be true. I feel like as we choose to live the gospel, like President Monson said, we will be lights. In Matthew 5:15 and 16, 14 through 16, it says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. And so I've often wondered, why is one person's example important? And I think back in history, Jesus Christ, perfect example. Another, this is such a wonderful example of one person who affected the rest of the world. Other people that may have affected the world and the world's views are people like Aristotle and Plato, people like Mother Teresa. I wanted to discuss one more recent woman, um, her name is Malala, and she recently won the Nobel Peace Prize. You're welcome to research her story a little bit more. But my third question was, how can I and my philosophy be an influence for good in the educational system? So I love Malala because um, she desires for education to be available to all, especially to women in her country. And that is a blessing that I often take for granted. That a blessing that I have that I often take for granted. And it's amazing that she um, was different from the world. And I feel that her philosophy in teaching and proclaiming peace, publishing peace, is something that will last, just as others have lasted for hundreds and even thousands of years. So, how can I make a difference in the world? I'm reminded of Elder Ballard's talk where he discussed service and honeybees. And he said that often we think of a honeybee, when you think of a honeybee, in their lifetime, they circle the earth twice. And all the work that they do amounts to 1/12 of a tablespoon of honey. Often you can think, oh, well, I don't make a difference in the world. But then he says, their work is vital to the life of the hive. And I know that to be true. Each one of us is important in society, in civility, just as in one of the readings. One person who started these citizenship schools changed the world, changed many, many, many people's lives and even generations, changed the status of our country and how people treat each other in the early, mid-1960s. And those things have affected us for the past 50 years. It's amazing what one person can do to strive to do good. So I invite you, as disciples of Jesus Christ, as students, to learn all you can and then to share. Make a difference in the world. Give back, because there's so much that you can give. Thank you.